Good morning, gorgeous. Good morning, gorgeous. Don't forget to smile as you look radiant as you are the queen of your Nile. Wake up, beautiful. It's time to spread your wings. Open up your window. Hear the bluebirds as they sing. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and good morning, gorgeous. We'd like to thank you for joining our good morning conversation. This morning, we have Miss Debora Logan Lawson this morning joining us on the Good Morning Gorgeous podcast. And this is your morning cup of joe and inspiration to start your day. So thank you so much, Miss Debora, for joining us.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're so wonderfully and blessed and glad that you accepted this opportunity. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first question we would like to ask you is, tell us a little about you, Miss Debora.
Okay, where do I start, right? I am from Lexington, born and raised. Attended the local schools here, attended the University of Kentucky, and also I attended Kentucky Vo-Tech. I think it's a new name for it now, but I have a little age on me, so they've changed the name of the school. But I am a divorcee. I have two wonderful children, and I have two beautiful grandchildren. I am also administrative assistant for a family-owned business here called JLD Incorporated. My dad started the company back in 1969, and myself and my brother. And now we have one of my nephews who is jumping on board, and that's what I do during the day.
Awesome. And go ahead.
Oh, well, no, go ahead.
I just want to say I connected with Miss Debora through Consolidated, and then I truly look up to Miss Debora as a mentor to me because she gave me the opportunity to hone in on my writing craft. So I'm very excited for the opportunity to be able to have this conversation with her and to let her know how she has been. And I might get emotional because during this interview, because she really helped me. She helped bring more out of my writing skills that I knew that I had. So I greatly appreciate you, Miss Debora, for allowing me to write for the Lextropolis magazine. And that's another question that we have for you. Sharon, is there something that you want to ask her?
Yeah, well, before we get into that, and I know I want to give you your moment to get your tears together. But I will say I have been looking forward to this conversation because I have heard a lot about you from Larissa, and I'm like, wow, I cannot wait to meet this person. So I am so happy to be on here today, and she definitely has spoke so highly of you, and so it's just nice to be able to put the face to the name and to be able to have this conversation. Because we have been talking about the Lextropolis for some years now. I think I was going to put an ad in before, and I have been following Larissa and all of her articles that she had in there. Tell us a little bit about how did you get that started? What made you want to start doing this?
Well, one of the reasons why I started was because we were underrepresented. Secondly, I had just retired or semi-retired from the local police department. I worked in the community service division when I worked with kids. And I have done that for over 20 years. And, we were teaching kids the positive paths to take in life. And when I finally had an opportunity to sit down and watch television, again, I didn't like how our communities were being portrayed. And so I felt like if that's all these kids had to go by, had to see, then they didn't have a chance.
Wow.
With so much negativity, you always see us, people of color, going to jail, standing on street corners, getting arrested. You always see those narratives on media, social media, and mainstream media. So you and I know there's so much more to our communities than what's usually being portrayed.
Absolutely.
So I knew I had to do something. I wasn't sure what that something was, but those that know me know I care about the community. I care about our children. And I just, again, wanted to do something. A friend of mine, Patrick Mitchell, he is the co-founder of the Lextropolis. Him and I are very good friends. And I was telling him what I wanted to do. And so he told me whatever I did, he would support me. And he is the photographer in the Lextropolis, not as active as he used to be from the beginning. He's moved on doing other things. He is an outstanding actor. He's an outstanding writer. So he's out there doing his thing. But I can always call him and he's always there with me. Those are the reasons why I wanted to start it. And it has grown beyond my imagination. You know, we're getting ready to celebrate 7 years. Actually, this month, we're celebrating 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And I asked myself, where did the stories come from? You know, but we have been very blessed and fortunate to even get some national stories, you know, little old Lextropolis getting, you know, legacy thanks to Larissa. And I interviewed Sinbad a number of years ago, and he's always been my big fan of the Lextrop. He follows us on Twitter, and I keep up with him, and he keeps up with us. So it's great.
Wow, that's awesome. And I mean, hearing you, it makes so much sense because representation really truly matters. And if all you're seeing around you are these negative pieces, what do you think that our children would think? How do you think that resonate inside of them? So being able to have this other outlet that shows these positive faces that look just like them, that are doing some incredible things, you know, coming from the same backgrounds that they come from, really truly makes a difference.
Absolutely.
And have it on a national platform now is incredible, right?
Right.
Yes.
And you know, the kids need to see individuals who look like them doing positive things. So yeah, all of that plays a role.
It does. No, it's good. That's good
And
stuff.
seeing, so Deborah, she's also hiding another secret. She's also a photographer herself and does some wonderful work. She did, we all had an opportunity. She wanted us all as writers to come in. And I believe majority of us did. And I had a blast in my photo shoot. And I tell you, we had a hard time choosing the pictures because I mean, I love every last one of my pictures that she took, you know, and the colors and everything just came together. So she has some hidden talent. She's very, very talented across the board, very, very giving of her time. That's one thing that people, I think that they don't see everything. They only see parts of us. And Deborah is very, very giving of her time across the board for anything. So, and I know, and I feel like, and I feel like I can say this honestly, it's hard for her to say no to things, you know, when it's dealing with the community, because she has a heart for just people, you know, people in general. And again, I'm just blessed to have her in my life. And that's something, Miss Deborah, earlier that I was saying, we had another interview earlier today, and there were things years ago I was saying, okay, God, there are people in my life that need to be taken out of my life. So God, take those people out and replace them with more powerful, uplifting, and inspirational women that are going to help me to grow. And he placed you in my life. You were one that came into my life. And thank you for making me work so hard to get my writing skill. When I go back and I look back to the first story that I started, you know, and what my column was going to be called, Isabella's Closet, was basically named after my grandmother on my mother's side. And I had started out just putting my poetry in there. And then boom, I mean, it grew from there. And I'm telling you, Lettucey was one of the hardest, you know, articles that I had to write. And Miss Deborah kept saying, Larissa, no, no, you got to read it again. Oh no, Larissa, I think this. And I think I rewrote that and changed that up at least 4 or 5 times before we got that story right.
Wow.
So she knows because she's doing it so long.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't talk about me when you was going back and having to edit it.
Well, let me tell you this. In all honesty, I was thinking, what is she seeing that I'm not seeing? You know what I'm saying? And then when I finally got to the end, I was like, oh my God, now I see it, because I was like, she's being so hard on me, and I was seeing those things, but the end results, and I thank you for that. Because I feel like you poured more out of me than I knew that was there.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
you're gonna make me cry.
I'm trying not to cry, because when I sit back and I reread those stories, those articles, and being able to reshare those articles, with other people, and how powerful, because my stories were not based on one particular subject. Every one of my stories were, different, from mothers adopting, from adoption, from young Marquis surviving at the age of 18. I mean, he dealt with his heart and kidney problems, and him being 18 and have a heart and a kidney transplant,
right.
And then the most one that I was really, really nervous about was interviewing the pastors during the pandemic, making sure that I'm not saying the wrong, making sure my language was proper, or, interviewing them. I was more nervous about interviewing them. So, but it changed, from Deborah just interviewing people. And then I just started doing all of them via Zoom, and it helped me write my stories even more.
And I'm listening to you, and you think about the stories that you did tell. Who else is telling those stories?
Nobody.
Right.
And they're helping other individuals who are possibly going through, trying times, as these stories are. And I love the story about the adoption, and that she won, the foster parent of the year nationally. And we broke that story.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And Deborah, you have the voice where you have, with your magazine, it's all African Americans, it's everyone, it's, you handpicked who it is that is writing, because with your magazine, there is there's a certain, I don't want to say, trying to find the right word, because you're not just allowing anybody to write for your magazine. My question to you is, how do you choose, month to month, the stories that you want, what you will allow and what you won't allow in the magazine?
Ooh. I really don't choose, like you say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm not choosing individuals like that. I'm blessed because the individuals who are on the team, we are a great fit. I've hired a couple of new people here in the last year, and they are fitting in just as well. When I think about Tracy, and I think about Dana, and I think about Joy, of course, Joy is not writing anymore, but she is the liaison for us, our PR everywhere. But I think about those individuals that I named because they have been a part of this since day one. Vanessa Jackson, day one, when we sat in my office at the conference table and telling them what we were trying to do. My first story was my sister-in-law and her friend. They were opening up a new hair salon, and I know they thought I was crazy. I went in there and set up, had cameras, had my little pen and paper, and actually interviewing them. And to see now, and if you go to our website, lextropolis.com, you can see the growth. You see the very first issue all the way down to the present issue, which we just released this week. But when people ask me, can they write for me or anything like that, I listen to them and I want to hear their passion. Because as you know, Larissa, all of our writers have a passion for what they do.
Mhm.
You know, they're trying to tell the story from a different perspective a lot of times. But you just got to fit. You know, I have people to come to the table with their own agendas, you know, and I have to sometimes tell them, not yet. You know, that's not what I'm looking for right now. I am seeking writers, but I need you to bring something to the table.
That's good. That's so good. I know, you know, the more I'm just sitting back, just listening to the two of you talk. And, you know, the one thing that keeps popping up in my mind is this idea of just mentorship, right? And how even as adults, you can still be mentored and become better at what you do. Sometimes we think that, you know, once I get to a certain age, I got this. It's like, no, you can always still learn from someone else and to be able to have that connection with her and to be able to come back and say, you really helped me grow. I think it says a lot in terms of how much we can still be mentored as adults. But then on the other side of it, Miss Debora probably had no clue that you were thinking like this. So to be able to share that, you know, it probably really just hits her to go, wow, like I never thought that I was making that kind of a difference in another person's experience. But that's exactly what happened. And the more and more I was hearing you all talk, this idea of just mentorship was popping up because it's just so important, even as adults, to still seek out incredible positive mentors that can still help us grow. And this is evident in just listening to the two of you today. It's just incredible. It really is.
It does. It blows me away. I did have a snippet of how she felt. It's funny because we met, like she said, at Consolidated Baptist Church in the vestibule one Sunday morning, and it was powerful even then when we met. But it's funny you talk about mentorship because I did that with kids, as I stated before, for over 20 years and had no clue that I, you know, was doing this with Larissa or anyone else. I do try to pull the best I see in someone out of them. A lot of times and I'm guilty. Was one of those timid persons, very shy. Still am. A lot of people wouldn't believe that, but I really am still have a little shy tendencies. But when I see someone that has something to offer, I just try to pull it out of them bring the best of them to the table, basically.
Yeah, that's good. And who knows how many other Larissas you have out there, Larissas that you have out there that you don't even realize you're impacting them on the whole other level to where, you know, they're gaining more knowledge and experience is going to carry them well beyond. Because I've been even hear some of your poetry, which is just incredible in itself. And I have been saying she needs to write a book of poetry so that others can hear that voice because it is important. And Lextropolis is doing that, right? It's that voice that we need to hear in our communities and beyond that. And, you know, we're being able to have that now with just being able to connect with all of the writers and even the pictures and the stories that are being shared through the Lextropolis. So, you know, we were talking before about how representation really matters. And this is an example of that, right? You started off with little kids, you had no idea you were going to be aspiring adults. And through Lextropolis, you're hitting so many people, and your writers are hitting so many people, right? That you don't even understand the span, the reach that of the impact that you're making, but it's happening. And we need more of this. Like we need more of you, more of the writers, more of folks just saying, I know I want to do something. I don't know what it is, but we're going to try it, see how it goes, which is the whole thing with this podcast.
Yes,
Let's see, let's see how many lives we can inspire and reach and touch So I am just inspired by hearing this. And it's 7 years now. You're celebrating
Yes.
7 years. Like that alone is just so incredible. And I'm truly in awe just hearing you all talk today. So yeah, this is good. Good stuff.
So let me say, 7 years, it was not just me. I have, like I said earlier, I have a phenomenal team. And I don't want to start naming names because I'll miss somebody. But the Lextropolis team are the reason why we are doing what we're doing. They are committed. They have the passion like I do. So, yes, this is a team effort, most definitely.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And you said, what was the website again so that people don't miss it?
www.thelextropolis.com. They can follow us also on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And I'm trying my hand at TikTok. I'm trying to be where the people are.
Okay.
Well, that's good too.
Yes, because Miss Deborah, she is camera shy a little bit.
A whole lot.
She'd rather be behind the scenes with the camera, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right,
Yes, ma'am.
right. One last question for you, Miss Deborah. From your experience of the Lextropolis, and all the things that you've been doing in the community, what would you like to share with our listeners and our viewers, about you, about the Lextropolis, about anything that you're working on currently?
A couple of things. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid of the first no. Do not be afraid of a door being closed in your face. If you really believe in what you are trying to do, just do it. May not seem like anyone's paying attention, may not seem like anyone is supporting you. And a lot of times they're not. You just keep moving forward, and then they'll start paying attention. Because like with the Lextropolis, when I first started it, again, I don't think anybody thought I had a clue what I was doing. And a lot of times I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew what I wanted, you know? So I just kept moving forward. Months would go by, years would go by. A lot of people were following in quiet. Does that make sense? Not saying anything about it, but they're lurking at what I was doing. And so as they seen it grow, then people start, she might have something, And so then the advertisers started to come along, and I love that we're getting some more corporate advertisers now, because people who don't look like us sometimes don't understand, or even know about our communities, the positivity that's happening in these communities because of what they see on mainstream media.
Yeah.
So now I feel like they are hearing us, they are seeing us.
Yeah.
And a lot of this happened over the pandemic. When people finally sit still, they didn't have a choice but to kind of see things for what they are. And now, it's just a beautiful thing in a way. And then you ask, when I say about not being afraid, yes, I was afraid because I'm not afraid of failing. I've had restaurants before. I've done so many different things that I'm not afraid to fail. I just get back up, start over, do something else, or try again.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, as not only women, but for everyone, to just not be afraid, no matter what your age is. When I started this, I was over 50. Now I'm over 60. So, it's never too late to put a footprint out there for those behind us.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my granddaughter absolutely loves it. She's 11 years old. She's done some little commercials for me. She just absolutely loves the Lextropolis. And at her age, to know how it's beneficial,
Yes.
says a lot, So I'm excited. I don't know where we're going. You know, I'm excited to get to 10 years. You know, 10 years is just 3 years away.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm already excited, already gearing up for some great celebrations. And Lord willing, I'll be here. And Larissa and you guys definitely will be a part.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Deborah, it has been a pleasure. I'm just we're so grateful for you accepting our invitation to come on and have this conversation. And we pray nothing but continuous blessings and success of the Lextropolis magazine that we both love and follow. And it will always be a part of my life because it has been a stepping stone for me, a blessing for me, an opportunity to meet other creators. And we all have our different styles of writing, but to be able to come together and be a part of the Lextropolis magazine has truly been a blessing and an inspiration in my life to see people like us use our gifts and talents to be able to help build the magazine and the vision that God gave to you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yes.
I appreciate this opportunity as well. It's great meeting you, Dr. Sharonda Steele. And Larissa, you know, I'm just a phone call away.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I will be reaching out to you soon about some other things. And but many blessings to you. And as we always close, we always try to make sure that we tell our viewers, always continue to find yourself,
Believe in yourself and
and
love
love
yourself.
yourself.
Oh, I love that. Love that.
Thank you, Miss
Love that.
Deborah. It's nice
All right.
meeting
Thank
you
you
for
so
sure.
much and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.